But first, LeBron James and the Cavs win Game 1 with a major effort from J.R. Smith. But let's discuss another Smith. LeBron said he didn't play the way he wanted to in the fourth, and our own Stephen A. Smith had an interesting take. Let's listen.
I saw LeBron playing around, and you've never seen LeBron that. You've never seen possessions at a time, multiple possessions where he seemed to not be taking it seriously. But there was like a 6-minute chunk of period of time in the fourth quarter. We had Paul Millsap on him, and he was literally toying around and costing the Cleveland Cavaliers possessions. He didn't seem to be taking the game seriously until it got tight again, and then obviously he went in for that thunderous slam and helped close the deal. But it was very surprising to see LeBron James approach any period of a game that way. I've never seen it from him before in that chunk of time. I might have seen a play here or there, but never over a period of minutes, particularly in the fourth quarter. It was quite surprising.
All right, Stephen A. surprised by the way LeBron, in his opinion, played around. Skip Bayless, do you agree with your partner?
Wow. I was shocked by Stephen A.'s surprise. In fact, Stephen A. Smith, I had two shocks, one yesterday and one last night, or actually early this morning, since I've last seen you. One was the Steph flop fine that we're about to talk about in our second question. The other was very early this morning, I saw my friend Stephen A. Smith talking back to me on TV saying, what? That LeBron was playing around in the fourth quarter, so now we're about to have role reversal on First Take, because I am about to criticize you for unfairly, in my view, criticizing LeBron James. Because I'm sorry, I don't get it. From my heart, last night, I liked and I respected the way LeBron James played in the fourth quarter. In fact, I was, if you'll let me say this, I was proud of LeBron James for the way he played in the fourth quarter. Obviously, as we all know, DeMarre Carroll had been hurt, jammed his knee in the third quarter and was gone. God bless him. I hope he's okay, because that would really undercut this series and take a lot of the air out of it if he can't go on. We'll find out later from the MRI. But all of a sudden, Paul Millsap was forced to cover LeBron James, and he did so, Stephen A. Smith, with a very un-Spurs-like strategy. Obviously, Coach Popovich has always dared LeBron James to shoot jump shots, especially from the three-point line. And in this case, the Popovich disciple, Mike Budenholzer, who coaches the Atlanta Hawks, had Millsap try to get up into LeBron out at the half-court line. And I'm saying, what are you doing? And that, to me, was what LeBron James was saying. And I get it. If you want to say that was his definition of playing around, I think for a while he was looking at Paul Millsap like, you are going to try to guard me like this? Because it was just stupid to me. Paul Millsap cannot guard LeBron James at the half-court line because obviously he's just not quick enough. So LeBron did exactly the right thing. He began to drive around him. I know he made some faces for a while, but then he continued to attack. He had one rough late stretch where he missed 5 straight shots, but it wasn't because he wasn't trying, because he wasn't getting the foul calls. I was shocked. They're not, these refs aren't giving LeBron a whole lot of respect, because he attacked and he attacked and he attacked. And finally, with 37 seconds left, as you well know, after Atlanta had creeped back into the game, got within 5, LeBron James blew by Paul Millsap, blew right down the lane, and finally, Al Horford, I don't know what he was doing, did not pick up LeBron James. And LeBron went uncontested to the hoop for a slam that slammed the door on the Atlanta Hawks. That made it 93-87, and that was ball game with 37 seconds left. So, again, silly me, I was impressed with the way LeBron played the fourth quarter, because he attempted 0 3-point shots, only took 1 for the game. Way to go, LeBron James. Obviously, he was 3 for 28 from 3 against the Chicago Bulls in the previous 6 games. So, Stephen A., I was impressed, and I'm surprised you were not impressed.
Well, first of all, I didn't say that I wasn't impressed. Obviously, he finished the game with 31 points. I was also incredibly impressed by the fact that when J.R. Smith went ballistic and was dropping threes from all over the place, LeBron was on the bench, if you recall, Skip, at that particular moment in time. The minute he was reinserted into the game, he made 2 buckets just to let them know and remind the Atlanta Hawks and the Atlanta crowd, J.R. Smith is not the only individual you have to contend with tonight. Yes, I'm still here, and you have to contend with me. But ultimately, that onslaught by J.R. Smith, ultimately assisted by LeBron James, gave the Cleveland Cavaliers an 18-point lead with with under 8 minutes remaining. I think it was like at the 7:02 mark, they had an 18-point lead, and you could just sense that it was pretty much over. Ultimately, over the next 5 minutes, in which LeBron James missed 5 consecutive shots, Skip Bayless, they were able to close it to 4, primarily due in large part to LeBron James and how he was playing around for the exact reasons you highlighted. He's looking at Paul Millsap and literally laughing like, you think you can guard me? Y'all think he can guard me? This is a joke. And he was holding the ball entirely too long, which he admitted. He engaged in isolation play, which he admitted. He allowed the opposing defense, the Atlanta Hawks, to set up on too many occasions, which he admitted. And obviously he needs to do better, which he also admitted. So all I was doing was pointing out that the LeBron James that I usually see over the course of 48 minutes repeatedly and relentlessly and tenaciously in attack mode, he took a break over those 5 minutes last night to be specific. He was holding the ball, he was dribbling, and it wasn't just to let the shot clock go down. It was also because he was playing around, because he was like, first of all, we got this game, and secondly, it's an absolute joke that you think that Paul Millsap, who's really a power forward, because that's how he plays, can be this further away from the basket trying to stick me. He thought it was laughable, as most of us do, even though we respect Paul Millsap. That's all I was trying to say. He's LeBron James. He's the best player in the world. I knew they were going to win the game. We've got them winning the series. We know how he can play and what he has done. All I'm saying is that for a chunk of 5 minutes, LeBron James was primarily, if not totally, responsible for an 18-point lead, dwindling to 4, and the game being far more interesting in the fourth quarter than it needed to be, because they had a cushion. He knew it. He knew they were going to win, and ultimately he took it for granted. I didn't mean for it to be a big deal, but they asked me the question on SportsCenter. I answered it. You brought it up here on First Take. I'm telling you, even though it's not that big of a deal, because he's LeBron James, he's one of the few players in the world who can afford to do that, because he can make up for it, because he can close. In the end, it doesn't negate the fact that, in my opinion, for those 5 minutes, he was playing around, because he knew he wasn't worried about the Atlanta Hawks at that particular moment. Once they were up 18, he wasn't concerned about it. And it shows. No big deal. That's what happened.
No big deal.
I'm telling you what happened.
So I'm about to go Stephen A. Smith on
they won
Stephen
the game.
A.
It's
Smith.
Atlanta.
It's my turn now to say, now wait a second.
Say what?
This man scored 31 points last night on 12 of 26 shots, and you are nitpicking the way he played in the fourth quarter. This man took over the game for most of the game, and I think you might even be suggesting they were better off when J.R. Smith was in the game and LeBron was on the bench? Really? This is LeBron James we're talking about, best player on the planet.
I'm telling you, again, if you're playing around and the 18-point lead is relatively maintained, that's different. But Skip Bayless, the Atlanta Hawks closed it to within 4 with 2 minutes left. There was plenty of time for them to win the game. I'm telling you that usually LeBron James is the kind of dude that will put his foot on your throat and take you out of here, as opposed to playing around. Again, it's not a big deal to me because they won the game. But during that 5-minute period, when I'm sitting there, I'm standing in there courtside, watching him play around, I did find myself saying, what the hell are you doing? Finish these boys off. You're on the road. You're in Atlanta. You know, they can get hot. Kyle Korver's not going to miss every shot. Jeff Teague finished the night with 27 points. You know, who knows what Al Horford could end up doing. Don't give them a chance to make this interesting. Finish them off. During that 5-minute stretch, I did find myself saying that, quietly in my own voice to LeBron because I thought he was playing around. And I stand by it. I didn't make the damn thing up. Look at what transpired.
LeBron,
he was playing around.
I've got your back.
Oh, you're his best friend now.
I am defending you today against this unfair onslaught of criticism from my partner, Stephen A. Smith. So remember,
How's it an onslaught?
I've got
How's
you.
it criticism?
Yeah, it's a little nitpicky to me because they did
Go
win.
ahead and get him, Skip. He's very happy he has you, Skip. He's very happy he has you.
That's correct. And by the way, Atlanta shot 4 for 23 from 3, so I'm not even sure how big a threat it was. Bazemore did have a 3 that could have cut it to, what was it, to 5 maybe at one point? I don't know.
You've seen Atlanta. I'm just saying, you've seen Atlanta come back. We saw what happened with the Clippers in Houston. I'm just saying it's the sport. You never know what could happen. You don't play around in the fourth quarter, especially during a playoff game. You finish them off. I think that LeBron was playing around for that 5-minute period, that all. And then after that, all right, enough's enough. Let me finish them now. So he did what he's capable of doing.
Yeah.
But he was playing around.
Way to go, LeBron.
He's playing around for those 5 minutes. That's all I'm saying.
Best player on the planet.
We take away Skip Bayless is here for LeBron. You have his back. That's what we've decided. Bayless, do you agree with your partner?
Wow. I was shocked by Stephen A's surprise. In fact, Stephen A. Smith, I had 2 shocks, one yesterday and one last night, or actually early this morning, since I've last seen you. One was the Steph flop.
And you've never seen LeBron that. You've never seen possessions at a time, multiple possessions where he seemed to not be taking it seriously. But there was like a 6-minute chunk of period of time in the fourth quarter. We had Paul Millsap on him, and he was literally toying around and costing the Cleveland Cavaliers possessions. He didn't seem to be taking the game seriously until it got tight again. And then obviously he went in for that thunderous slam and helped close the deal. But it was very surprising to see LeBron James approach any period of a game.
But first, LeBron James and the Cavs win Game 1 with a major effort from J.R. Smith. But let's discuss another Smith. LeBron said he didn't play the way he wanted to in the fourth, and our own Stephen A. Smith had an interesting take. Let's listen.
I saw LeBron playing around that way. I've never seen it from him before in that chunk of time. I might have seen a play here or there, but never over a period of minutes, particularly in the fourth quarter. It was quite surprising.
All right, Stephen A. surprised by the way LeBron, in his opinion, played around. Skip